Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video we will be talking about a large storm system that could be forming across the United States in the next really it's gonna start around Wednesday. I wouldn't actually say really today it could start showing its first signs, but it's really gonna start picking up Tuesday into Wednesday, and by the time it's the weekend it will be well underway. It's a large, unique system. It has many characteristics that are rather odd. It's going to be long lasting, potentially some flooding concerns, but overall, yes, a very interesting, if you will, kind of accumulation of events that will be occurring in the next week. I do want to say that what we see right now, here's a radar of the United States and southern Canada. We do have some showers across the northeast, but again the main area of focus is right here, this batch of rain that has moved in onto the northwest, and it's still really there as of recording this video at 5:40. This will slide to the south and west, and it will merge with energy that is or moisture and energy that is pretty much readily to be picked up right here across the tropics, and this will form a lot of precip for quite a good amount of folks, and yeah, definitely something we will have to watch for. That's how big, that's how many people could get impacted by this, if not even more. So yeah, before we get into this, if you guys would like to subscribe, I'm just letting you know, because it's just a reminder. Again, you don't have to, but it does help the channel out significantly, and if you do like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. Otherwise, let's start talking about this. Okay, so again, I have been showing you this radar, and I do want to show you this. This is a loop for the last 12 hours, or sorry, last 6 hours, and notice it is making decent progress. That rain across Oregon and Washington. It started obviously towards the coast. It is a bit glitchy, I do apologize. It's not moving as smoothly as I would like. Regardless, let's put this forward. So notice into Washington, Oregon, very nice bands of rain were forming. Nice heavy, moderate to heavy rain was falling, and notice that is still occurring, and this is really good news because a lot of these locations this year saw record amounts of snow, or sorry, record amounts of heat, and this is definitely something that they will benefit from, this rain. And it looks as if the pattern for the northwest, even aside from this system, is looking very wet and very very wet and very rainy. Notice some of this is getting into Northern California. That is good. There are some large fires that were threatening the sequoia forest and whatnot. That is good. Obviously not enough, but it's definitely starting to show its signs there, that precipitation, and we do have that moisture from the monsoons kind of across the southwest. And again, this will all accumulate, if you will, into this large storm system. And yes, we do have some of those pretty nasty little storms across, and I say little because they're little in size, but these individual thunderstorms, you know, if they're over one location for a good while, and especially if it's sloped, which some of these locations are, flash flood concerns are a definite risk, and anything else that comes with those. But the monsoons definitely have helped this year across the southwest. It's been a, you know, even if the winter is dry, a lot of the states here, Arizona and New Mexico, have been aided significantly from that rain. Unfortunately, it was limited to only these states, not so much California, Nevada, and Utah. Let's take a look at the, I want to quickly glance and see the severe thunderstorm warnings, if there are, not really the severe flood warnings. And yeah, you can see right there, actually that storm we were looking at is, there's a flash flood advisory right there, and 1 to 2 inches already has fallen, and there will be probably more. So stay safe with that. We do have some frost advisories, some freeze watches and whatnot. So definitely a interesting pattern as we head into fall, but predominantly again active and stormy. Okay, let's take a look at it. So there's our rain that I was just showing you right across the west. Right there, look at it. There's our culprit, and just watch how this slides to the south and west, and how it picks up a lot of moisture from Texas. As I put this into 7 p.m. September 27th, September 28th. Look, this is Tuesday now, so again, there's our timeline, and look, we do see that precip, and several rounds continue to fall through. It does get cut up by the mountains a bit, so it's pretty weak, but by the time it makes it here, it does make it, right? And that's enough for this low pressure to reinvigorate it, pump it up with more moisture, and you can see that this low pressure just starts accumulating a lot of that precip from the west, and again it starts raining across North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska. But again, the low pressure itself is centered way into Texas, so way south of that. And you may think, okay, so this, it rains and then it leaves. Well, not necessarily the case. So again, it starts already on Wednesday, really tomorrow, and then into Wednesday, into Thursday. You can see 78 hours out, 84, and look, it just stays in very similar locations for many days. At this point, this is late Friday, early Saturday, and it still hasn't really moved a lot. The rain has abided at this point from the northwest. There may be some additional rainstorms, but those are separate at this point. And look, into Friday, Saturday, we see these little clusters of red and yellow flaring up. This won't be a large, widespread band of rain causing light to moderate rain. There may be some pockets like that, but it looks as if there will be many areas of individual kind of very heavy pockets of rain, meaning thunderstorms, maybe even some severe weather. But again, many days of this across very similar locations will lead to some flooding concerns and some flash flooding issues. Thankfully, a lot of these areas here are dry and they need that rain. Again, just not as much as some of these models are showing. Look, by Saturday, this storm gets a kick in the boot, or a boot in the, or yeah, a kick from a boot. Regardless, it gets moving and into Illinois, Indiana. You can see Ohio, Kentucky. It starts spreading that rain. It's not really a well organized storm in terms of it doesn't have a defined circulation, a powerful cold front, a warm front like we would typically start seeing it around this time of the year. It's been definitely more delayed this year, fall. And again, I've been saying that it's looking warm. The first snowstorm is still not appearing in the next 15 to 20 days, and that doesn't mean snowstorm across the central U.S. The northern fringes, which there has last year there was one in actually early September across Colorado and into portions of the plains of Colorado and extreme western Kansas. 2 years ago, it was around this time of the year. There was a massive blizzard across North Dakota and South Dakota and eastern Montana and southern Canada. This year, no signs of that, and it looks as if the first half of October is going to be reluctant to squeeze out any sort of storm system. Okay, regardless, let's get back onto track. So again, the system starts moving, but you can see how widespread it is, and that's why I was making such a large circle at the beginning there with that red pen, because look how many people could be impacted by this. A lot of people by the slow-moving system, and again, this is just rain, so you can imagine the cloud cover will be even more from this system. And again, it's affecting just the central portion of this U.S., but it does move towards the east later on, and you can see that the European model, look what it does. It brings decent rains all the way into Iowa, Illinois, the Northeast, right? And look, just take a look at Chicago, for example. Look, rain Monday, Tuesday, and it still hangs around these little snippets of this remaining low pressure. So again, a very odd system. It's very slow. It's just regurgitating wave after wave of rainfall. Nothing really too progressive, which we'd usually start seeing with the strengthening jet stream at this time of the year. Something that is more of summer characteristics, but definitely has more power and is more slow moving. And it has just much more rainfall associated with it, which is why it has some of those fall characteristics. And as we push this forward, again, it does start breaking apart, and once it does, it does in a major way. You can see that it kind of gives way to two new storms, potentially one off the East Coast developing right here. But again, if you could argue that a lot of this energy stays and produces the second one right there. Again, it's hard to tell, when this ends exactly, when does it start, because of just how odd it is. But as I put this forward, you can see that the system continues raging, if you will, across the central United States and the southeast, bringing rain eventually to the northeast. Again, the northeast will stave off this rain for at least early next week at this time of the kind of Monday, Tuesday time frame. And again, you can see that even once that happens, it's reluctant to push in there. But the southwest seeing some rain again, at least it's something, and the northwest drying out for a bit, but the wet pattern returns in the long term, and most, if not all, models support that, so it's not going to be drying out anytime soon there. And I just want to show you some of these rainfall amounts. I think they're honestly quite stunning. And look at that. So again, that orange color, or sorry, that maroon color, that's 6 inches. That is a lot of precip. Again, this is over an extended period of time, but models that go this far out don't usually show, kind of localized high amounts of rain, because they usually just show us trends. If you could bet that if a GFS, if this were to come true, this wet pattern to this extent of almost 7 inches across Missouri and Oklahoma, that would result in probably localized amounts of well into the double digits, 15 to 20, I would argue, over the next 10 to 15 days here. Again, it's definitely one model run, and it's a wet one, but you could see that it's affecting a lot, but it is targeting Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and for the amount of days this storm system could be occurring, it is not a surprise whatsoever that that this stuff could be, that this type of rainfall could be happening, as you saw. Look at the Northwest, very heavy rain amounts. That is good, but again, it does miss out kind of the corners or the if you will, the edges of the country, the north, the south, the east, the southeast, just really the central U.S. getting hammered by this. And just to show you, the GFS from today in the morning, really, again, a bit lighter with that rain, but the same message. This is one from yesterday during midnight. Again, a different arrangement of rain, but and it is a bit more widespread towards the northeast and north of yesterday, but today it's kind of more honed in on the central U.S. Look at this one from the evening model run of yesterday. Showed a lot of rain, heavy rain, a bit less in terms of magnitude, but more widespread than today's model run. So again, still kind of favoring that. This was yesterday's model run that we're looking at today's, 24 hours ago, if you will. And you can see that there was, again, quite a bit of rain across the central U.S., though it wasn't targeting Texas, Oklahoma nearly as much, more of the east. And let's take a look back at the 6 o'clock one from September 26th. You can see that one was a bit different, not showing as much, but look at that. It's been there for quite a while, and as we've gotten more and more into this, the models have been more and more advertising for a very, very wet scenario. I want to show you the Canadian. Canadian goes out only to 240 hours. The GFS that I showed you went out to 384. It still shows a remarkable amount of rain during this time frame, and again, at many locations, 2 to 5 inches with pockets of up to 4 to 5 according to this model, targeting very similar locations. Let me play this out to you. Let me just automate this. So notice there's our precip across the west. Northwest combines with the tropical moisture. It's flaring storms here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and by that time it moves into the Midwest. You can see the Canadian takes it a bit further towards the north, bringing that rainfall, all the way to the U.S.-Canadian border. Then it slides it towards the east, and this is again already Thursday, and we're still dealing with that same system 240 hours out, or kind of the remnants of that same low. The weak circulation. And again, the precip will be much more widespread with this model, but it will be lighter across the areas that do see it, where the GFS thinks there will be 6-7 inches. The Canadian only shows 3 to 4, but it shows 1 to 2 across areas that the GFS doesn't show any. So those are the main differences. I'm actually curious to see this because the newest GFS model run is coming out. There we go. And I've been showing you the noon one, but at this point I could show you the evening one, and let's see what the differences are. I guarantee you it still shows that system. And again, right there, yep, flaring it up, starting to show those thunderstorms. This is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What I noticed right away is that this system is a tad bit more progressive with this newest model run of the GFS. It does bring this rain into the northeast, kind of the Midwest, if you will, but it does kick it out, if you will, a bit earlier from the Great Lakes region, the southern Great Lakes region. But as a result, it allows another system to sneak in here that's of different structure, more of, again, kind of a fall, low pressure, warm front. Really no cool air behind this one. That's how darn warm it will be. You can see that it's a bit closer to normal, not necessarily cold though. So that's definitely interesting to see. But rainfall amounts I can't show you because, well, they only go out to hour 60, and obviously up until then not much will occur. So really, again, you saw that some remarkable agreement between model to model run, and really between model to model as well. European model. Let's take a look at its most recent model run. Again, there's our system across the northwest. There's our tropical moisture getting dragged like a magnet to the north. Look at those lines right there. Again, Nebraska, Kansas tomorrow, Thursday, Wednesday, and again eventually Friday, reaching really maybe Iowa, but affecting very, very similar locations. Finally, the European does move it into the Midwest by the weekend, and Monday, Tuesday you can see raining, but it does bring it again away after a certain while and leaves us with a questionable pattern. We don't really know what would come, maybe a dry, calm period, and that sure looks like it, as there's dominant high pressure and bringing very warm temperatures all the way into southern Canada, which is marked by the temperature anomalies, which you could see are going to be mainly warm throughout much of this occurring system. A bit of pockets of cool air where the cloud cover is on kind of on the backside of this system. But again, towards the long range period, it just seems to get warmer and warmer, not cooler and cooler. The opposite of what we would expect. Total accumulated precipitation from the European model, decent amounts as well. You could see pockets of really just widespread amounts of 2 to 4 inches. Pockets of, you could see 6 inches. Definitely an interesting scenario there. Again, bringing the rain. If this 2 to 3 inches were fall across Kansas or Nebraska over the next 10 to 15 days, that would be good because these locations are dry. So that's a nice rain that allows the soil to get percolated. But if you get percolated with moisture, but if you get 6 inches of rain in one day, that's not really beneficial, and it also causes flooding, obviously, and whatnot. So the 6 inches, even in a time frame of 10 days, followed by even more rain, it's only so much that the soil can take over a long period of time, even if it's over a long period of time, I may add. But again, if a decent pattern, and I do want to say that don't take a look at this and be like, oh, Minneapolis right on the cusp of seeing more rainfall. This varies from model to model, and for all you know, there could be a thunderstorm that passes right through Minneapolis and delivers way more rain than the surrounding areas, or vice versa, or the models completely kind of changes system trend and bring it further to the north, or they don't bring any into Minnesota. It's tough to tell, and I'm using Minnesota as an example. This could be occurring across any state. The model run from the Europeans 12 hours ago, it showed some different characteristics. Notably, not much across Wisconsin, right? But look at this one, new one. Shows quite a bit more across Wisconsin. The older one showed not as much across northeastern Colorado. This new one shows quite a bit more. So there are remarkable differences, and we'll just have to continue to monitor them and see what happens as this all unfolds. But one thing that has been consistent for sure is a heavy rain across the Northwest. Almost every single model run has been showing that from every single model, and you can see it's just been consistent from model run to model run. Many areas potentially getting over 2 to 3 inches in the next 10 to 15 days. Let's see right there. Yep. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. United Kingdom model, I didn't show you this one. I usually don't, but it's sometimes still a decent model to look at. And again, it does favor the heavy rain across very similar locations that the other models favor it across. Again, some of those amounts are rather impressive. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya.